The 2023 Mizoram Legislative Assembly elections are going to be held from October 13th, 2023 to December 5th, 2023, and the voting of 40 assembly constituencies will be held on the 7th of November. Let us have a closer look at the parties in Manipur and try and also understand about the previous elections that were held way back in 2018. Then we're going to go over to some guests and try and understand what are the key issues that parties will be contesting and fighting for in 2023 in Mizoram, an important state, a sensitive state, and this is what happened in 2018. The Indian National Congress in assembly polls got 5 seats. In 2019 Lok Sabha, they drew a blank. The BJP got 1. The MNF, which has been in power for the past 10 years, got a whopping 26 seats, 1 in Lok Sabha, and of course some of the other regional parties were at 8. Much higher than what the BJP and the Congress party were able to in fact get together cumulatively. And of course Mizoram has also been a state which has been dependent on farming, and it's been closely monitoring what's been going on in Manipur as well. In 2013, the Congress party, which was perhaps breathing its last when it comes to voter loyalty in Mizoram, had 34 seats. In the assembly elections of 2018, they had about 5. The BJP, not very lucky in 2013 and 18, is going to in fact have a different strategy, perhaps some alliance of sorts with the MNF or the other parties. But of course, the MNF from 5 to 26, 2013 to 2018, has been the big winner. The front, as they call themselves, have in fact relegated all the other parties to nothingness so far. And this is once again very important to understand. We're looking at 40 seats, which is the halfway mark. And if we look at the north part of Mizoram, it has a total of 16 seats. And MNF, of course, across or at the halfway mark there. And the ZPM at 7. The BJP, of course, not very lucky. The Indian National Congress, with some of its remnants from the past, putting out a good show with 1 seat as compared to what happened to them in the future. Total seats in central Mizoram at 16, and the MNF once again here ruling the roost, basically contesting on some of the issues which prevail in Mizoram. Like I said, it's a state which is of course full of farmers. They have their issues with connectivity, they have their issues with roads and infrastructure, but the simple life that was in fact aspired by the people of Mizoram was somehow also shown to them in their manifesto by the MNF. We are going to see perhaps a repeat of what happened in 2018, but the central Mizoram with again 16 seats, the BJP drawing a blank over here, the MNF with 13 seats, the ZPM with 1, and the Congress party with 2. During UP era, the Congress party was in fact, holding on to their seats collectively and trying to in fact build a lot of network, trying to in fact understand what the local populace demanded of them. And at that time too, it was the infrastructure which was not given. The BJP has put out a number of promises. Is that something which the people of Mizoram are going to be falling for and would consider the overall image of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the work that he has done at the center to vote for the BJP in Mizoram? That is something we don't know at this point in time. Professor Madhav Nalapat, Editorial Director of the Sunday Guardian, with us on the show. Professor Nalapat, I'll come to you, sir. So Mizoram, is a sensitive state, like I said in my opening monologue, but it is also a state which has been monitoring what's been happening in Manipur. They also have a number of communities. Some of those communities also belong to the 2 communities that were a part of this problem in Manipur. How do you think Mizoram is going to decide whom to vote for? MNF has done a good job, although they have been a bit slow in coming up with solutions, but they have been steady for the past 10 years, and it's difficult, for them to be moved at this point in time, especially by the Congress or the BJP.
Vineet, let me go by the old saying regarding cricket. It's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. And Mizoram has been an amazing success story. People from all over the world are slowly beginning to understand what a beautiful state Mizoram is and how friendly the Mizo people are. They're an exceptionally talented and gifted people, and any visitor who comes to Mizoram, including many from other parts of India, they are charmed by not only the beauty of Mizoram, but the culture and courtesy and civility of the Mizo people. I think it's very important that there is no question that Prime Minister Modi has worked very hard in a way which we unfortunately did not see for more than 6 decades in the past, to ensure that connectivity and infrastructure improve in the region. And in about another 3 or 4 years' time, it's expected that India, Myanmar, ASEAN, all these linkages will be very strongly formed. And when that happens, Mizoram will have a huge boost in its economy. It's already one of the fastest growing states in the country, one of the fastest growing states. And once India and ASEAN are connected through road and rail, of course, and of course by sea even more, as Prime Minister Modi is intending, there is going to be no limit to the progress that's made by Mizoram. And I think it's important also to see that enough educational infrastructure also gets developed in Mizoram, so that the Mizo people can have local opportunities to go into advanced studies in both school and university. Having said that, I want to point out, I think that it's very important for the Election Commission to ensure that bullying tactics, strong arm tactics by some of the local players is avoided completely. The police, the central forces, they have to make sure the Mizo people should have their own say, and the Mizo people should choose the government they decide. My own guess is it's going to be the MNF. And as for the parliament, well, even if the MNF comes to, gets the parliamentary seat, which I think is going to be very likely, it's equally likely, given the importance that Prime Minister Modi has given to the Northeast, given the number of visits he's made to that region, given the connectivity that he's building up and will continue to build up if he wins the election in 2024, there's no doubt that the party that wins the election into Lok Sabha in Mizoram will support Prime Minister Modi in Parliament. So overall, in my view, the MNF has the advantage, and that's what the Mizo people decide. Fine, we should all be okay with it.
Mr. Vanlal Remruata Tonson, Assistant Professor of History at the Pachunga University College, joins us on the show as well. Sir, I hope you can hear me, and appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. Well, the regional parties in Mizoram have been very keen on carving out their own identity. Though they have accepted an outreach by the Bharatiya Janata Party, they have not necessarily showed too much of an interest in an alliance with the Saffron Party. Why do you think that is? And do you think that parties like the ZPM and the MNF will continue to reign supreme because they more or less understand what the people of Mizoram have always wanted?
Yes, I think that the main competition is between the MNF and ZPM. That MNF has a stronger party organization. They have a better party organization, as I believe, as I understand. Then at the same time, they also have better individual candidates. So the candidates had better experience compared to the ZPM candidates. But at the same time, there is anti-incumbency wave because that the government employees, they are not satisfying with the existing government because they do not get their salary on time, and at the same time, the pensioners also they do not get their benefits on time. So the government employees and the pensioners, I understand that they are against the existing government, or that they are part of the anti-incumbency wave. And at the same time, there is another group that the first voters. The first voters, they are also against the existing system or the existing government, because that this ZPM is offering new system. So this new system is attracting the new generation So, so as I understand that, the MNF, they have experience, they have strong party organization, and at the same time, the ZPM have a chance because there is a strong anti-incumbency web.
Right. Let's also talk about Manipur for a second. Do you think that the MNF, which considers itself an ally of sorts with the BJP, distanced itself when Manipur happened, and that perhaps is some sort of a good news for the Congress party as well? It found itself relegated in Mizoram.
I don't think it will much affect this election because all the political parties support the struggle of Zhao people in Manipur. So at this point, I cannot comment. I do not have much idea about it because all the political parties they support the struggle of Zhao people in Manipur. So I don't know how far the efforts of this MNF will be fruitful or no will be attracting vote. My point.
What do you think are the key issues that people of Mizoram are going to be voting for? Influx of refugees is also one of them. The sewage system in Mizoram is also something which has been complained of, and of course, let us also not forget that there is an emerging drug problem in Mizoram as well. How do you reflect upon these key issues, and how will some of these newer parties deal with them?
With regard to this drug menace, yes, there is of course this drug menace is there, but I do not understand how far it will be relevant in this coming election.
All right. Understood. Professor Nalapat, what about the image of the Prime Minister? Has that failed in some sense to penetrate the minds of the local populace of Mizoram, considering, elections have happened when the Prime Minister was the Prime Minister and did campaign, for people to vote for the BJP in the state?
Well, I'd like to say very clearly that look, the population of Manipur, if I recall, I mean it's about under 1 million, if I may say so, and there are 174 candidates for 40 seats. Having said that, I'd like to point out, Vineet, a very important fact. And we saw in Manipur the toxic effect of the infiltration of social media by two countries that are hostile to India, and that basically, inflamed a section of opinion in that state and sought to promote almost a religious war. It was never at any stage. There may have been some conflict, some intertribal conflict, so to speak, which happens all the time across the world. But there's no religious war. For example, the Meitei and the Nagas are very close to each other. The Nagas are overall the Christian, as are the immense majority of those people who are Mizo, and as are the Kukis. They sought to paint it, the external forces, as a Christian-Hindu issue, which was completely wrong. It was not a religious issue at all. So I think there is no question that Mizoram being a very sensitive state, and there is every effort by China in particular to ensure that the success of Prime Minister Modi's plan for a link between India and ASEAN is either delayed or does not succeed. Because if that happens, then the growth in India, the growth in the Northeast in particular, will be immense. And the Chinese certainly do not want that. They don't want that kind of growth to take place in any part of India. At the same time, in social media, etc., they will be trying to influence polling, etc., in the sense of creating false images, creating AI-generated fake stories and fake reports. All that was there in Manipur. And regrettably, it had a terrible impact on Manipur. So we have to be watchful that that kind of situation is not there in Mizoram. But so far, I have not heard any reports of that kind of situation. Overall, the atmosphere in Mizoram is very peaceful, and that's why I said it's become a global, worldwide tourist attraction. All over the world, people are looking at this beautiful state and saying, my goodness, why didn't I think of going there? And I should go there for my next holiday. All over the world, I can tell you, people are turning to Aizawl, people are turning to Mizoram. So, but I'd like to point out that yes, India has enemies. The people of India, when they make progress, these enemies get upset. And the narco trade in particular, it's controlled by these two countries. And there are huge profits from the narco trade. And as a consequence, a huge amount of money to be spent in propping up individuals who support that narco trade in practice, while talking, maybe against it in words or pretending it does not exist. So I think these are definitely real dangers, Vineet, and it's good that you pointed out. But I'm very sure security agencies in India are very alive to this now, especially after what happened in Manipur. They must be alive to this problem of the narco trade. And I think it's important to ensure that the narco trade in India, especially in the Northeast and in any of these border regions of India. You talk about Punjab, you talk about the Northeast, you talk about Arunachal, all these locations, we have to be particularly careful that the drug syndicates and drug gangs are completely wiped out. That needs to be a priority for the government in both Aizawl as well as in Delhi.
All right, Professor Nalapat, always appreciate your thoughts and perspectives on these important issues. But we've run out of time, unfortunately. Would like to thank both my guests for being a part of this conversation.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.